So nixtamalization is a really important process, and it enables humans to eat corn, or to get the nutrients from corn. It's an ancient Aztec technique that was used. The Aztecs prayed to the god, and like, how do you make this corn, edible for them? And it was certainly by happenstance that they found this technique. There's a lot of history. There are a lot of tales that go about like how they came up with this, but it was the Aztecs that founded it, and they tried to give it to the Caucasian settlers and stuff when they came here, but they didn't listen to them. And Native Americans here, or the indigenous people in the United States, tried to give it to the settlers, and the settlers didn't listen, and they starved to death for their first winter because they didn't want to listen to them how to process the corn. But really, it's like taking that corn and cooking it with lime or calcium hydroxide. And what that does is it softens the outside of the corn husk and allows water inside, the oil to come out, allows water to go in, but it changes the nutrient structure of the actual corn kernel. And it enables us as humans to actually digest that corn, right? When you talk about like feeding corn to cattle, corn for cattle is not nixtamalized, right? So that's why corn is so bad for cows, because cows are not made to eat corn. They're made to eat grass. But if we were to actually nixtamalize that corn for cattle, we could raise all this corn, all this beef on corn, right? Because the cows would be able to digest the actual corn. That's a big part of the process. That's really the magic of making great tortillas. And then the second half of that is the grinding. And it's time and temperature on the corn where you're cooking it, and with the calcium hydroxide, and letting it steep long enough to really, do its magic. And then the grinding, the texture of the stones. So Toby, again, who's the wizard, he's carving these stones. He's sharpening these stones with a little grinder that, we put these stones together, and then he adjusts that, how those stones, how wide they are, the millstones, right? Just like you would at a flour mill. He's adjusting that to get the perfect texture, perfect balance, so that the moisture content that's in the corn, we maintain enough of that, and get the right grind so that we can make the tortillas. Because it's important, we believe, when making great tortilla chips, you have to start with a great tortilla. And your chips stop becoming great as soon as that tortilla is made. So if you're using a corn flour or a corn meal or a masteca to start with your making tortilla chips, like, you're never going to be better than what that is, no matter what coatings you put on there, right? So maintaining that, it's the same tortillas I use in the restaurants. So the same tortillas that we're using at the restaurants to make tacos, or enchiladas, or flautas, we're using those to basically chop and fry for tortillas here. It's a crucial part of like what we do. It's a part of the craft that we are holding on to. It's a differentiator for us, and truly what sets apart like the great tortilla. I mean, that's the magic. Once you bake that tortilla, anybody can cut and fry tortillas and throw seasoning on them, right? We're not landing spaceships. The magic is all like the cooking of the corn, the grinding of the corn, the making of the tortilla, and then then you know where you stand.